Have you ever overreacted to something small, and then wondered afterward, why did that hit me so hard? Or found yourself unable to trust people, even when they've given you no real reason not to? Or noticed you make the same self-sabotaging decision over and over, no matter how many times you tell yourself, this time will be different? These aren't random personality quirks. In many cases, they're the fingerprints of trauma, and trauma doesn't just live in your memories. It physically reshapes your brain and quietly steers decisions you don't even realize are connected to it. Over the next 20 minutes, we'll explore what trauma actually is from a neuroscience perspective, the specific brain regions trauma changes, and how trauma shows up in everyday decisions, often invisibly, and what real healing actually looks like. Stay until the end for the practical steps. What is trauma, really? Trauma isn't just about the size of an event. It's about how your nervous system processed it. A single terrifying event can be traumatic. So can years of smaller, chronic stress, an unpredictable household, emotional neglect, ongoing criticism. Psychologists sometimes distinguish between big T trauma, a car accident, abuse, a natural disaster, and small T trauma, chronic invalidation, humiliation, instability. Both can leave lasting marks on the brain, because what matters isn't the event itself, but whether your nervous system had the resources to process it and return to a state of safety afterward. When it couldn't, the brain adapts. And those adaptations, which were once protective, often continue running long after the danger has passed. The 3 brain regions trauma reshapes. Let's look at exactly what changes and why it matters. 1. The amygdala, your alarm system. The amygdala is your brain's threat detector. After trauma, the amygdala often becomes hyperactive. 2. The hippocampus, your memory and context center. The hippocampus helps you place memories in time and context. It tells your brain that happened then, this is now. When the hippocampus is impaired, trauma memories can feel like they're happening right now, rather than being safely filed away in the past. 3. The prefrontal cortex, your rational decision maker. The prefrontal cortex handles planning, impulse control, and rational decision making. In practice, this means trauma survivors often make decisions from a more reactive, fear-driven state, rather than a calm, reasoned one, even when they consciously want to choose differently. How trauma shows up in everyday decisions. This is where it gets personal, because trauma rarely announces itself directly. 1. Hypervigilance in relationships. Constantly scanning a partner's tone, facial expression, or mood for signs of danger, even in safe relationships. 2. Difficulty trusting good things. Some trauma survivors feel anxious when things are going well, almost waiting for something to go wrong. 3. People-pleasing and fawning. Constantly prioritizing others' needs and emotions over your own, avoiding conflict at all costs. 4. Difficulty making decisions. Chronic stress impairs the prefrontal cortex, which is essential for weighing options and making decisions. 5. Self-sabotage near success. As we discussed in an earlier video, self-verification means the brain sometimes seeks evidence that matches an existing self-image, even a negative one. 6. Emotional numbness or dissociation. In some cases, the brain copes with overwhelming stress by disconnecting from emotion altogether. Why this isn't a character flaw. It's worth pausing here to say clearly, none of this means something is wrong with you as a person. These are adaptive responses. Your brain did exactly what it was designed to do, protecting you under difficult circumstances. The problem isn't that these responses existed. The problem is that, without intervention, they tend to keep running long after the original danger has passed, like a smoke alarm that keeps going off after the fire is already out. Understanding this distinction matters because shame and self-blame actually make healing harder. What real healing actually looks like. Here's the genuinely good news. The brain is neuroplastic. 1. Trauma-informed therapy. 2. Nervous system regulation practices. 3. Rebuilding safe relationships. 4. Patience with the decision-making process. 5. Separating the past reaction from the present moment. Healing isn't about erasing what happened. So, if you've ever wondered why certain reactions feel bigger than the situation calls for, or why some decisions feel harder than they should, this is often the answer. The good news is that memo can still be delivered. If this video helped you, don't forget to like it. Subscribe for next week's video, where we'll explore how childhood emotional neglect shapes adult relationships. See you then.